Well, good morning, Flosstube Nation. Welcome. And I have a very special guest with me today. Today is Saturday, February 4th, 2023, and this is episode 5 of Cindy's Adventures in Stitching. And with me today is my cousin Lisa.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Thanks for coming. She drove about 90 miles to be here today. And I have a funny, cute little story. If you watched my first video, I talked about growing up in southern Indiana and having a grandmother that was very influential in my stitching. She was an avid quilter. When she passed away, all 15 grandchildren got a quilt. And after I had posted that video, right away there was a comment, and I even mentioned this in my second video, that the gal said, "Hey, I grew up in southern Indiana and I had 15 cousins and we all got a quilt. Are you my cousin?" And I responded, of course, "Yes, hi Lisa, this is Cindy." Or I think she even said, "Are you my cousin Cindy?" So we connected on Instagram and we've been chatting back and forth ever since. And it's been wonderful because my whole reason for starting Flosstube was, one, I wanted to connect with other stitchers, and two, I wanted my channel to be lighthearted and fun. And situations like this, it makes it so rewarding because now I've connected with a family member who's also a stitcher. And I never thought that that would happen. So today, Lisa has brought her whips with her, and then we're going to go over the quilts that we got from our grandmother. Before we get started today, I want to congratulate my cousin Lisa for being my first guest stitcher in our mobile stitching She Shed Sassy. And we're really hoping to make this a continuous thing and have more guest stitchers come and stitch with me in Sassy. So Lisa, show us what you brought. And before she starts, I want to say she is not like me. She has lots of whips in progress, and I can't do that. So I admire people that can. So show us what you got. Now I'm going to put my glasses on.
Okay, the first one is from Old World Christmas Leisure Arts Leaflet 430. And there's several patterns in there. But
I do remember those. Are they still in print, I wonder?
I don't think they're still in print, but I got this for like $3.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's the one I'm doing is the girl walking her goose because it just cracked me up.
Well, I certainly remember the 70s, which you probably don't, but geese were like the fashion, not fashion, but the decorating thing to do.
And they would have the blue,
yes,
like gingham.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That's pretty. Do you know what cloth that is?
It's just Ada from probably Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, probably 14 count would be my guess. Okay.
Okay. My next one.
Did you make your project bag?
No, I actually won it. All the project,
you won it?
For Floss Tube. All the project bags I have, except for a couple, I won.
Oh my gosh. You know, my sister's that way. When they go to something and then there's a raffle, she always wins. You must have this. Yeah, you guys must have the same blood or something.
Well, I say I can't have more projects than project bags.
Oh, so. That's a good rule.
Okay, this one is from Twin Peaks Primitive, and it's called The Founding of America.
And so this is what you've got started on.
Right, that's the top left.
Oh, this is top left. Okay, left.
Top right, top right.
I have to stop and think.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty.
My goal is to get it done by Flag Day, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Flag Day, isn't that in
13th?
June?
Yeah. I think maybe the end of the year, and I'm not going to do this alphabet in here.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do everything
That's really pretty.
Yeah, I wasn't going to get it, and Chris said he really liked it, so I was like, okay, I guess I'm getting it. Okay. Next one.
Just another pretty project bag. I'm so impressed that you won these.
Oh, this one is.
Oh, you're really far along on that.
It's pretty big, but I really like it. But the problem is, let me get the name out. It's by, I have this all in my notebook. Christmas Carol Sampler from the Primitive Hair.
Oh, okay.
And it was just a PDF. But some of the symbols are so alike that
it's hard to
so a lot of it probably isn't even right.
This is going to be a really big piece.
Yeah, but I'm not probably going to do that border. It doesn't go all the way around, and I just don't think I'll do that. But I'm definitely going to do like the words and that lamppost, which is pretty much done.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really like this. And this is stitched on, I think the thingy's still on there. The
It
tag's
looks
still-
like, is it Lugana? It kind of, to me, it looks like Lugana.
Let me see.
Oh, you did bring your notebook.
I did. It is, yes, it's 28 count Lugana by Stitch Me.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what the color is.
That's really pretty.
Yeah. I really like the Christmas. Oh,
Do you like, would you say that this is Amish? I mean, that buggy looks Amish. Do you, I know some people are really drawn to that.
not especially. I'm not,
Okay.
as far as like cross stitch.
Sure.
I really like this fabric.
Oh, I
It's
do
not-
too.
It's not crazy expensive, but more often than not, I'm just going to probably get something cheaper.
And no, I think that's a good point. I mean, you got to draw the line
Yeah.
somewhere because if you're not careful, you're spending a lot of money.
Yeah. And I don't want to have a bunch of stuff on the go more than this because I feel like nothing's going to get done.
Yeah. I would agree.
Okay. This one is In the Moonlight by Lone Elm Lane.
Oh, how pretty. That's really pretty.
And I don't think it'll be that hard,
Oh, that's beautiful.
but I need to figure out, I don't know. I wish I hadn't done it on the blue, but it's okay.
Oh, I think that'll be pretty. Would you have done it on this?
Yeah, if I had it or had to
Yeah.
do it over, but
Yeah. Sometimes you got to use what you got
Yeah.
too. Yeah. Do you have a serger?
no, that came like that.
Oh, it did?
If
That's nice.
I didn't serge it.
That's really nice.
What is that on? Sorry. Talk amongst yourself.
You're fine.
I don't think I wrote that one down. Oh, yes, I did. It is 16 count pewter Ada.
Hmm.
And I started that.
I do really like that color.
Yeah, I do too. Okay.
I like that project bag.
So do I. And I like the zipper pull is bigger.
Yeah.
And this is
Good
from
point.
Teresa Kogut.
Oh, actually, I have that same pattern.
You do?
And I stitched it for my sister for her birthday because she has a black cat who's kind of snarky like that. And it turned out really cute.
But, and something about this, I love Teresa Kogut, but like the way she has her pattern, it was really confusing. She would have the legend in two different places, so I was constantly like going like that. But
it took me a while to stitch it, but I think that was because of so many different colors.
Yeah.
That the black really shows up nice on that.
yeah, and that is 18 count Huntress by Stitch Me.
Oh, pretty. That's really pretty. So which would you say you've been working on the longest?
Probably this one, the
Oh.
primitive hair one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I can tell you because I started that 2020.
Oh, you wrote down when you started them?
Yeah.
Good for you.
I just jotted it down. Now I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
But
I just started doing that. I thought, I gotta get more organized.
yeah. Ouch.
Well,
we don't need no heckling.
we don't need heckling. Camera people are supposed to be quiet.
And this
That's
is
big too.
Wintertime by Crochet Go-Go, I think is how you say it.
Oh, how pretty.
And that's Sandstorm 18 count. I really like this. As big as it is,
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
hate it.
Yeah, that's really pretty.
And I was going to leave this out because I didn't like it, but my granddaughter said, "Oh, you have to put that in. That's my favorite." So
Oh, well,
cut
there
to
you
me,
go.
stitching it in there.
Yep. You got to do it.
But these are going to be really focused projects
Yeah.
for the year because
You know, I had said I wanted to do a focus project and I was going to do a block every month. Well, that didn't happen. I didn't have a piece of fabric big enough.
Yeah.
That's my excuse. But
okay, I only have 2 more left. These little ones from Country Cottage Needleworks.
Yeah,
this
those
is
are cute.
Glitter House 7.
uh-huh.
And
Oh, that's pretty.
I should be able to get this done pretty quick. I mean, I got a huge chunk of it done.
Oh my gosh, you got a lot done. That's beautiful.
Thank you. And that's Even Weave, I think, at Hobby Lobby, and it's probably, I started at 1/1 like an idiot up here. I'm like, what am I doing? I can't even see that. I know people do it over 1, but
I know they do.
I don't know how.
Yeah. I always stitch 2/2 because I can't see well enough to do the really small.
Yeah, I figured you for a 40 count girl.
Oh no. No. I tried it once and I thought, oh my gosh, this is the hardest thing I've ever done because I just couldn't see it well enough.
Yeah, I had to get and I don't wear glasses yet, but I had to get a magnifier and a light.
Yeah,
When I started stitching.
for sure.
And this is Country Cottage Needleworks to have and to hold, but I'm just doing the church because I
Aw.
was watching Floss Tube, and made by Michelle McGraw had done the church in these reds, and it looks exactly like St. Joseph's.
Oh,
So
cool.
that's not going to be hard to do.
Yeah,
So
looks like brick.
yeah.
I'm assuming you were married at St. Joseph's, which is a church in that area. And it's a beautiful old church.
Yes.
It's really pretty
It's
on the
amazing.
inside. Yeah.
And that's really all I have. But
Okay.
I need a consult.
Oh, okay.
I pieced this together from some free patterns, but it needs something up here, and I don't know what. I thought about taking something off of like the petticoats of my wedding dress, but it's all white, so it's not really going to show up. So I don't know.
So when you say you wanted something up there, do you mean do you want to hang something
or something like that? Yeah. It's because it's just
3 little buttons would be cute up there. If you have, do you have any buttons on your wedding dress?
Yes.
Oh
yeah, that's a great idea. I knew I was doing right, and I Frankensteined it and then put interface and ironed it down.
Pretty.
And stuffed it with some of Dad's sawdust.
How do you like stuffing with sawdust?
I love it.
Do you?
Love it. Yes.
I have never done that. I know a lot of people do.
Yeah, I really like it. The poly feels good too, but just something about having his work
in
there,
for sure. Yeah. And just a little family history. Lisa's dad is 92, and he's got to be the most active 92-year-old. I mean, he's active for a 52-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
Let alone, I know I called him, it's probably been a year and a half or so, maybe 2 years, and he was a little bit out of breath. And I said, "Oh, are you okay? Did I catch you in the middle of something?" And he said, "Oh, we're just clearing brush."
Just another day at the farm.
Just another day at the farm. Yeah. And he still cuts wood.
Oh, yeah. And his arms are like a tree trunk.
He is rock solid.
Yeah.
I'm
he's
telling
not a
you.
tall guy, but
no,
he will take someone down if he has to.
For sure. He absolutely would.
Yeah.
So today's a celebration day. Number 1, Lisa and I get together. Yay. Cheers.
Cheers.
And today would also be my mom's 94th birthday. So cheers
Yay.
again. Yeah. So I thought maybe the viewers, you guys would want to see or know a little bit about our grandmother. Like I had said earlier, when she passed away, it was really kind of a neat idea. There were 15 grandkids. So they had all of her quilts, and by they, I mean my mom and my Uncle Jay, which is Lisa's dad, had these quilts lined up on a table, and each quilt had a number assigned to it. And all the grandkids came into the room, and, I think we were all kind of oohing and ahhing and secretly hoping which quilt we would get. And so they had a big bowl, and there was a number written, there 1 to 15 was written on paper. And then I think we randomly chose our numbers. I don't remember that it went from oldest to youngest, but we chose a number out of the bowl, and that's the number quilt that you got. And I'll never forget, your sister, Mary Kay, said, "Oh, I knew I'd get the one that wasn't finished." So I guess it was just the quilt top, maybe. I don't know, but I thought to myself, "Phew, I didn't get that one." So anyway, we're going to show you guys the quilts that we each received. And then after we did the quilt draw, they had, I can't remember if it was in another part of the house or what, but my grandmother was an avid dish collector. She loved dishes. She had a big, beautiful curved glass china cabinet that I know is in your dad's house. And we could auction, or we did a silent auction. We used our number as a way to communicate that we were interested in that item. And I don't remember, we must have put a value next to it.
Yeah, I believe we did.
Okay. And then it was I felt like it was a good way to be able to get what you wanted and not hurt anyone's feelings, right? Because I didn't know what anybody else's numbers were. So I got an additional quilt because I have 2 kids and I wanted them each to have a quilt. And then when my mother passed away, she had my great-grandmother's quilt, which would have been my grandmother's mother, and now I've got that. And we kind of tease that we say it's belongs to, I have two sisters and we say that it belongs to all of us, but it's in my house. So I kind of feel like it's mine, but we're going to show you guys that as well. We've moved inside, even though Sassy is great. She's a little small to be displaying quilts in. So we thought we'd come in here where we have a little bit more room. And the first quilt we're going to show you is Lisa's quilt. And you can tell it's a scrappy, it's a half square triangle design. And instead of doing hand quilting, she tied it off with crochet yarn or wool yarn.
Our grandma did, not me.
Yeah, grandma did.
Well, what Cindy was saying before about how they did the auction after our grandma died, this was the one, I wasn't there, but this, evidently somebody drew a number for me, and this was the one I got. And I just don't want to use it because I'm afraid something might happen to it.
Sure.
So I have it on a quilt rack that my dad made. And she was just saying about, wish she would remember if any of these came off of grandma's clothes, because they had to come off.
Oh,
that's what they had then.
They had to have come off from her clothes.
Right.
And grandma, just like mom, sewed a lot of apparel. I'm sure she sewed. I'm sure she sewed her skirts and her dresses, and maybe she even made blouses too. I don't know, but that's just what you did.
Yeah.
Back then, you made your clothes, or at least in our area,
right.
That's what you did.
Right.
And we grew up in a farming community, and farmers didn't have a lot of money, not much extra. I mean, they had their ground, and that was about it. So any way they could pinch a penny, they did, and sewing was a way to do that. I don't think that's the case anymore, but
yeah,
but that's what they did. But what's amazing to me is that look how precise this is. I mean, she had to cut this with scissors.
Yeah.
There were no rotary cutters. All of her points are exact.
Perfect.
It's just amazing what they did back then. So our next quilt will be the one that I got at the auction. And it's a big, big quilt. Like yours is a twin size. This is a full size by far.
Wow, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, isn't it neat? And again, it was made from scraps. She probably bought this, but it's on point. And I wish I could remember the fabric from clothes, but I just don't. I didn't pay enough attention.
Me either.
But it's a big quilt. And the next one, now there were a few quilts left over after we did the draw. And because I have two children, I wanted to make sure that I got a quilt for each of them that I could pass down to them. And so I was able to get this one, which kind of goes along with Valentine's Day. That's right around the corner. But again, this is on point and is the same pattern as the one that we just showed. And I wish I could remember the name of that pattern, but
maybe somebody will know and leave it in the comments.
Yeah, that's a good idea. If you know the name of this pattern, you want to leave it in the comments, I would very much appreciate it. But I do remember this being on a bed. Well, they had to have, but they would use newspaper to cut out the blocks. Like I don't know if they drew, I guess they drew the blocks. Probably. So I'm sure that she probably made this up and then reused that pattern. And I've got one more that is just a quilt top. I'm not sure. I don't remember my thought process on getting this, other than I think lavender was one of my grandma's favorite colors. And do you remember, Lisa, she had a bedroom and
yes.
The walls were lavender.
And I think she had like a Chanel bedspread on one of them that was lavender.
Yes. So this is, I think it's the same, square, this is probably a 6-inch square, which is pretty common in quilting today. And I do quilt. I'm just getting up the nerve to quilt this myself. But it's a good size quilt top too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's bigger than a twin, but it's in such good shape.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that it's still good. I'm glad nothing's happened to it in my possession. So then the one last thing that we have is our great grandmother was also a quilter. And when my mother passed away, which she's been gone a year and 3 months now, she had this that she got from grandma. And my great grandmother quilted this, or made and quilted this. It's all hand pieced and hand quilted. And I just love it. I love the blue colors. And it's also a big quilt, but I mean, we would never put it on the bed. I would like to display it on my quilt rack, but I don't want the sun to fade it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I want to enjoy it, but then I also want to protect it.
Yeah.
But I love this quilt. And we laughed when we were going through things and we found this, which I didn't remember that Mom had it. And as sisters, we decided that we would all share it. We would share possession of it, but it stays at my house. So thank you. So that is the conclusion of the quilt story of our grandmother and how we went through things. And I do have a picture that we will show. She was I wouldn't say she was a Renaissance person, but she did a lot of really outgoing things for that time. And she lived in a very small town called Hayden, Indiana. If there are any Hoosiers out there, they may or may not know of Hayden, but it's teeny tiny. And she was a member of a home ec club. And I think it was ran through the Purdue Extension Agency, probably. Like it was official. It was an official home ec club. And they took trips. They went to Washington, D.C., and she went to California. And when you think about that time era, that was probably the 50s, 60s, for her, they didn't fly, they drove. But for her to do that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So, and I've got a picture that I also got at the auction that was in her playroom. They called it the summer kitchen, but she had a big trunk and had dress-up clothes in there. And Lisa has 2 brothers, and the oldest one was closer to my age, and he used to dress up also. I don't know if he ever said that to you.
No.
Yeah. And we played bride and groom. He was the groom. Because we have, of the 15 of us, there's only 2 boys. The rest were girls.
Isn't that wild?
It's wild. And Lisa comes from a family of 10, right? So she's got 7 sisters and 2 brothers. And for a long time, your brother was the only boy cousin.
Yeah.
And then what's the difference in age between you and Elizabeth?
I think she was born in 78 and I was born in 68, so 10 years.
Oh, 10 years apart. Okay. And I was born in 58, so you can do the math on ages. But growing up, it was all girl cousins. That, we played tag, and it was all the girls.
Yeah.
And sometimes he would play, and sometimes he wouldn't. But probably he was sick of being around girls.
Probably.
I kind of get
and
that.
now he had all boys, and their boys have a mix of boys and girls. But it's just interesting to see that.
It is
We're
interesting.
So girl heavy.
Yeah, we were so girl heavy. That's right. Yeah, and then that he had all boys is really pretty funny.
Yeah, it is.
But I lost my train of thought.
Well, after Grandpa died, I remember she was saying something about being alone, and she'd come home at night and be kind of nervous when he was in the hospital, and she would go see him every day. She said, I just finally decided one day I was either going to be afraid or I wasn't. So I decided I wasn't going to be afraid. And I've always remembered that.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing. And that's a great way to look at things too.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. Anyway, she was a pretty amazing person, and got a catch in my throat. And so we were just glad that we were able to share those quilts with you, and how we were able to get them, and hope you enjoyed our show. We are going to go back out in Sassy and finish up. So you're not going to believe this. This is a perfect example of how I don't pay attention to things. But as we were getting ready to go out to the camper, Lisa found sewn into this, and I can't read it because I don't have my glasses on, but it describes when it was made. Lisa, can you read it?
Yeah. It says, this quilt started by Grandma Daisy Simmons. I finished the top and quilted it, probably the first one I ever quilted before 1930.
Whoa, got a timeline and everything. So I'm so glad you showed up and and showed me what I've got.
That's really neat.
That is really neat, yeah. And it's really, the ink's not that faded,
Yeah.
considering how long it's been there. Okay, we're going to head to the camper. We've moved the party back in the camper. Just another cheers. Cheers for successful video. We've had a lot of fun. And Lisa asked if I had anything to show, and I've got a couple of finishes. They're not fully finished, but I did finish this for my daughter for Christmas. Her last name is Barry. So so that I just have to do a little bit more to this, and that'll be completely done. And then the whole secret will be not to forget where I put it by next Christmas, which has been an issue for me in the past. And then I finished up wintertime. So, and I'm always happy. I do the happy dance when the border lines up correctly, and it did. So pat myself on the back for that. And when my sisters find out that there was a note on the back of that quilt, they are just going to be like, oh my gosh, how did we miss that? But so thank you, Lisa.
You should take a picture of their reaction.
I should take a picture of their reaction. That's so true. In the comments, we had several people ask about our trip to Michigan, and we had a great time. We skied at a place called ABR, and we'll have a link in the description to our other channel that shows a video that kind of summarizes our trip. Weather was great, had lots and lots of snow, so we were very glad that we got to do that. I will admit that I was really sore the next day. My shoulders were sore and my legs were sore, but it was well worth it. And after we skied at ABR, we went to Michigan Tech and skied there for a small amount of time because it was really hilly, and I was complaining because I was tired and sore, so we didn't last very long there. But then we went to Copper Harbor and Eagle Harbor, and it was beautiful. It was just absolutely gorgeous. It was a beautiful drive. So the next day, I think we turned around and headed home and had a safe trip. So thanks for everybody who wished us safe travels. We appreciate that. And so lots to be grateful for. Thank you, Lisa,
You're
for
welcome.
coming
Thanks
down.
for the invite.
Oh, you bet. We hope to have more guest stitchers in our mobile stitching she shed. And you should say that fast 3 times because it's a tongue twister for sure. But I would hope everyone enjoyed the video. We sure had a fun day.
It's a blast.
Thank you very much for
You're
driving
welcome.
down and agreeing to be a part of this. We'll see you soon. Happy stitching.